From Holthouse Carlin and Van Trigt, Blake Christian, great to see you once again.
Always great to see you, Mike.
Look, there's been a lot of talk in the last few days about Joe Biden's tax plans. Has there been any indication of how and when these measures are expected to be introduced?
Well, from what I understand, he's going to be pushing this infrastructure bill in coming weeks, and he'll be tying this tax increase to that. So I think we'll see this come to the press pretty quickly in the next few weeks, I think. So it'll take months to pass, but I think it's right before us right now.
The planned increases, they say, include raising the corporate tax from 21 to 28%, increasing the income tax rate on people making more than 400,000, expanding the estate tax, rolling back tax preferences on pass-through businesses such as limited liability companies, and setting up a higher capital gains tax rate for individuals making at least $1 million. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, it's scary, and the fact of the matter is, it's people are all for tax increases as long as it doesn't land on them. So he's being pretty surgical and going after the top 1%, maybe the top 3%. And so he'll have, probably some of the masses supporting this.
Can you tell us about some of these measures and which groups will be most affected overall?
Right. Well, again, it's going, the vast majority of taxes that drive the federal spending are individual taxes. Corporations are kind of the pariah out there in the press saying, they get these tax breaks and that, but they're kind of a rounding error in the total tax collections. Most of the taxes are on the shoulders of individual taxpayers. So again, top 3% are going to get hit by this. It's going to assuredly hit the energy sector, traditional, oil and gas. They're going to take away a lot of the tax benefits that are there: depletion, exploration, cost, expensing, things of that nature. And ultimately, it's going to cost everybody because we're going to see inflation out of this. I saw projections that it would reduce, U.S. output by 0.8%, would reduce wages by 0.7%, and that's not dropping it after they've jacked it up to $15 minimum wage. So anyway, pretty impactful. And basically, this is just kind of following through on Biden's campaign promise that he was going to, roll back all of the 2017 Tax Act that President Trump brought in, and it's not too many people that won't tell you that the huge economic gains we've had over the past 3 to 4 years were attributable to those tax decreases. And but Joe Biden's hell bent to unwind pretty much everything that Trump did, and this is another goal of his.
Incredible. Did you know that Joe Biden has actually signed more than 37 executive orders? That's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, I actually heard a number that was almost twice that large, but
Wow.
maybe he hasn't signed them all yet.
That's right. He's still trying to find the Oval Office. But any indication of the total revenue they wish to raise? Now, I've seen figures around about $2 trillion over 10 years. Can you illuminate on that for me?
Well, during his campaign, some people projected that it was going to be two trillion a year, all in additional costs to consumers and things. Whether how much of that is going to the federal government is a little bit of a mystery sometimes. But I've heard numbers between 2 and 4 trillion. So we
Wow.
keep, again, as we've talked about in last prior episodes, the billions and trillions kind of,
Meld into each other, yeah.
yeah, they just almost irrelevant anymore.
And over how many years, the 4 trillion? Is that still, would you say 10 years or?
Yeah, I mean, usually when they're scoring these types of bills, they do it over a 10-year period.
Mm.
So, we've accumulated $6 trillion of additional debt with all the CARES Act and the most recent legislation that was passed last week. And then this would be another minimum of 2 trillion, but I think that number is very, very low. There's going to be so many other costs that haven't been factored in.
If these measures, say, if they're introduced, say, this year or next, what do you think the overall effect on the economy will be?
I think you're going to see a real slowing. You're going to see, the most annoying part is you're just going to see a lot more government overreach and controlling of businesses, and it's gonna naturally slow the economy, and it's just going to drive up costs. And when that happens, businesses are going to find ways to cut costs or increase revenue. So they're going to either, and probably a combination, raise prices, and they're also going to cut headcount. They're going to cut wages. They're going to cut benefits, and so it's going to have a real ripple effect through the economy. And what consumers don't realize is, there's a huge cost to going green. I am all for intelligent energy reductions, alternative energies, but a lot of them that they pick as winners are not the most cost efficient. And I'd like to see them, put a lot more money into R&D and come up with, additional solutions rather than just, let's do more windmills and solar panels. Both of those have a place, but they're not, exactly the solution to everything.
Yeah, the windmills, they certainly handle the cold well. As in Texas, I mean, they really stood there and did nothing. And the Texans really appreciated the renewables at that stage. And now, if somebody wants to have a taxing talk with you, how would they do that?
You can reach me through our firm website, www.hcvt.com, or just Google Blake Christian CPA, and you'll get my contact information.
Blake Christian, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.